Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is once again Naaman from the DC camp, Branch of Great Millstone, back for another video. But before then, call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kodash. Once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who were well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, and also putting up many, many videos to get the word out across four corners of this earth. Alright, because, hey, coming down to the wire here. And more you're seeing these devils show their true character, or lack thereof, however you want to put it. But that shit was always just under the surface, just can't wait to get out. They always wanted to show what they were. Like the saying goes, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And they've done it ever since we've been on this side. Actually, before then, but yeah, the hatred of these Edomites for Jake. This is indeed biblical. And once again, another video. I mentioned it in passing yesterday in my video. This young Jake down in Mississippi was killed while he was riding his ATV, excuse me, um, off the side of the road, and this Edomite, this good old boy, just decided he wanted to take Jake out. I'm going to be using two videos, so let me get this out of the way. This is the copyright disclaimer. This is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, of course, which I am doing. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So there you have it. No one's profiting off of this, just as a tool to bring out the real news. Alright, so here's the first video. This is from Taylor House Publishing. Again, I believe he's out of North Carolina. I believe both of them that I'm going to be using are out of but here we go. And this is Mississippi, need I remind you. Alright. You can tell he don't want to be there. And again, this is something. Oh, I'm so sick of hearing that. But the thing is, this is what we're trying to tell you. None of this shit is going to work. They're not afraid of that shit. What they're afraid of is what we're doing. All right? We're out there preaching the word as we were told, as instructed. Just Ezekiel 3rd chapter by in and of itself. All right? This is what's going to save you, not this shit here. I understand, uh, they're all grieving, they're, all emotional at this point, and then here comes this asshole, you know, like in the old fucking westerns and shit, riding up. God, man, I can't stand these motherfuckers. But let's continue on. Because, see, they know you don't have any, what they perceive as real power. Alright? They know this. So they can take their time, they can, you know, drag their ass all they want. And they can tell you anything they want just to, get you out of their face. Alright? But hey, time is running out for these devils. They can sense it. Trust me. Back to the video. Red motherfucker. The violin. Jake tired of this shit. But they don't understand. And we're constantly trying to tell them why this is happening to us. Alright? They don't get it. And that plantation Christianity bullshit and all that other, Islam and other, that's not it. And as long as you're in that, alright, these things are going to continue to happen. In fact, let me get this real quick. Let's go to Daniel. Excuse me. Come on here. Now all of a sudden it wants to malfunction. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's see if it'll work now. Alright, let's start it around. Alright. Daniel, considering the time of the captivity, maketh confession of sins. Let's start there. Alright. It says, and I set my face unto the Most High to seek by prayer and supplications with fasting and sackcloth. Alright. right, and ashes, and I prayed unto the Most High, my God, and made my confession and said, O Most High, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that keep his commandments. And that's key. We have sinned, verse 5. We have sinned and have committed iniquity and have done wickedly and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. And that's it in a nutshell. This is why these things are happening to us. 6. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Most High Yahweh, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to all Israel that are near and that are far off. So it doesn't matter. Those who have been scattered, we're still under, all right, the curses. Why? Because, as it said in verse 5, the last part, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. This is why all this is happening, all right? It says, and through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespasses that they have trespassed against thee. O Most High, to us belongs confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sins against thee. And this confusion of face means shame and reproach. All right. To the Most High, our power belongeth mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Most High our God to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants the prophets. 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore their curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, Deuteronomy 28, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. And this is the point, 12. And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. What do you think is ruling over us? A great evil. Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem, Israel, us, no matter where we are in this wicked, wicked ass world. Part of Deuteronomy 28, 45 and 46 says these sins would identify, all right, as a sign of who we are, be upon us as a sign as to who we are. Let me put it that way. All right, back to the video, and then I'll switch to another one. Oh, please, get the fuck out of here. See, as long as you keep... Oh... Now, Remember I told you this is Mississippi. What do we know about Mississippi? Let's get this. It took Mississippi 148 years to ratify the 13th Amendment. Wow. The 13th Amendment, and this is from Politics, CBSNews.com. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which abolished slavery, was ratified in 1865. Lawmakers in Mississippi, however, only got around to officially ratifying the amendment last month, 148 years later, thanks to the movie Lincoln. All right? It says the state's historical oversight came to light after historical oversight. It wasn't an oversight. They knew what the fuck they were doing. All right? They had no intentions of doing it. It says resident Rajan Batra, sounds like Elamite, saw the Steven Spielberg directed film last November, the Clarion Ledger reports. After watching the film, which depicts the political fight to pass the 13th Amendment, Batra did some research. He learned that the amendment was ratified after 3/4 of the states backed it in December 1865. 4 remaining states all eventually ratified the amendment except for Mississippi. Mississippi voted to ratify the amendment in 1995, but failed to make it official by notifying the U.S. Archivist. Again, this was intentional. Batra spoke to another Mississippi resident, Ken Sullivan, who contacted Mississippi Secretary of State Delbert Hosemann about the oversight. Yeah, they slick with their words here. Finally, on January 30th, Hosemann sent the Office of the Federal Register a copy of the 1995 resolution, and on February 7th, the Federal Register made the ratification official. According to the Clarion Ledger, it's unclear why the state never sent the U.S. Archivist its 1995 resolution. What an amendment to have an error in filing. Exactly. Dick Mopas, who served then as Secretary of State, told the paper. You just gotta love how they just skip over shit and wow, man. Wow. All right, let's go to the second video. All right. And this is the site Introvert Rockstar. Mm-hmm. again, yeah, they're cold, but the Most High is colder. You know, Job 4:7. You know, who dies being innocent? You know, and I just read you why these things are happening to us, and also what we have to do. You know, to get back and you know, uh, taking advantage of this grace period that we're in to come back to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, the only good thing that we're seeing, all right, this shit is winding down, but for the people that, hey, you made mockery, you know, you fanned the hand, you know, that 2/3, oh man, it's gonna get much, much, much worse, as I said, and others, and as more importantly, the scriptures say, you know, there's a reason Isaiah 13 is there. There's a reason that Daniel 12 is there. You know, Jeremiah 30:7. You know, Jacob's trouble is coming. It's at the door. All right. As Daniel 12 says, you know, like it's going to be time like there's never been, and nor will it be afterwards. All right. Think about that. As much as we've gone through, think about this. Just common sense. The shit that this man did to acquire this world, what do you think he's going to do to keep it? And that should help answer Isaiah 13 and Daniel 12 and give you some insight into Jacob's trouble. Yeah, for those of you that believe that bullshit, that, you know, that civil rights shit and, you know, that plantation Christianity, everything's going to be all right. Oh, hell no. You know, you're going to see this motherfucker trying to stay in power. He's trying to keep what he stole, what he murdered for. All right. So, yeah, you're going to see them horns. Let's finish it out. Well, okay, but those people already existed and have for years. All right, Great Millstone. And others affiliated with it are telling you what really is going on. All right, but some people gotta learn the hard way, as they say. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing. All right, and there are some others. All right, uh, you know, even some sites that I watched. You know, they're very good at bringing out the wickedness of Esau. You know, but it requires a tad bit more. All right, we're looking for salvation, and not from, again, plantation Christianity and none of these other false religions. All right. Yep. Yep. So there you go. Oh man. Uh, so that's gonna do it. And personally, I think this is gonna happen more frequently since time is winding down, and they want to get, a lot of them are so uh, eager to express themselves. I'll put it that way. They long for the good old days, like Grandpappy and Great Grandpappy used to enjoy, and those before them. So they want some of the action. All right. Hey, we're coming into those times for you women that said you could do it all by yourselves. Hey, go ahead. You know, jump on in there. You know. So with that, hey, into the next video. Once again, I hope whoever views this is edified. That's what we do here at Great Millstone. Filter everything through the scriptures. So until the next video, hey, shalom.